I can still recall the exact tone of her voice. Dismissive, final. My wife Clara leaned back against the kitchen counter, slowly swirling a glass of wine, and delivered the sentence that cut far deeper than she possibly realized. I am absolutely not relocating to that dreary small town for your professional advancement. I stood there, holding the formal offer letter in my hand. It represented the largest promotion of my entire career, a critical role that possessed the power to fundamentally alter our financial and personal landscape. She never once inquired about the role's importance to me. She didn't even bother to ask about the compensation. She simply terminated the conversation with a cold smirk. I didn't engage in an argument. I simply nodded, forcibly swallowed the sudden bitterness, and said, "I understand." That was the precise moment I irrevocably ceased to regard myself as her husband. We had been married for 9 years, college sweethearts who were once inseparable. She frequently claimed she admired my drive and ambition, but somewhere along the way, that admiration had curdled into palpable contempt. She clearly enjoyed the affluent lifestyle I provided, but she detested the consistent effort and dedication required to maintain it. Nights spent working late at the office were branded as neglect. Business trips were selfish indulgences. Every single career milestone was met with disproportionate complaints about the sacrifices she allegedly had to endure. And yet, I stubbornly kept believing she was my committed partner, that she would follow me through any challenge, that she genuinely wanted us to build a future together. And that night in the kitchen, when the truth became starkly clear, she desired profound comfort, not mutual commitment. I accepted the promotion, meticulously packed my essential clothes into 2 small suitcases, and relocated 3 states away completely alone. The town was indeed smaller, quieter, and slower paced, but the corporation itself was not small. They were constructing something massive, and they wanted me to lead it. The compensation package was substantial, $620,000 annually plus significant equity, a precise figure I never once disclosed to her. It was a private secret I carried like a sheathed weapon, waiting for the perfect moment to draw. I initially maintained a cordial facade, regular calls, texts, sincere attempts to bridge the geographical distance, but she responded with unwavering coldness, short, clipped replies, contrived excuses not to visit. Eventually, she ceased answering my calls altogether. That sustained silence communicated everything I needed to know. She was convinced I would fail. She fully expected me to come crawling back, utterly defeated, begging her to take me in again. She had no clue. I was already meticulously building a permanent life that completely excluded her. The months passed swiftly. My bank accounts steadily grew fatter. My name began circulating widely in exclusive industry circles, accumulating awards, positive press coverage, and prestigious invitations. Then, a message arrived from her. At first, it was casual. "Hey, how's that new place?" Then warmer. "I miss talking to you." And finally, desperately pleading. "I made a huge mistake. Can we please start over?" Her timing was ironically perfect, because by then I was privy to the full truth. She had not been lonely and faithful back in the city. Mutual acquaintances had let crucial details slip. Dinner with a coworker, weekend trips with her friends that were entirely fabricated. She had functionally replaced me the very second my presence was no longer convenient for her. Betrayal is most excruciating when its arrival is entirely predictable. I didn't confront her immediately. I played the long game. I responded to her messages with measured patience, acting as if I genuinely believed her sincerity. I deliberately allowed her to maintain the illusion that she still held an emotional claim over me. I even sent her staged photos of the town and the large, modern, quiet house I had purchased. She gushed effusively about how cute it looked, about how she could totally see herself living there. Every word she transmitted, I meticulously archived. Every video call I recorded. I was accumulating evidence, not of her purported love, but of her persistent manipulation. Meanwhile, I met with legal counsel quietly and efficiently. I established intricate trusts, rerouted existing investments, and formally drafted divorce documents that would systematically cut her out clean. No alimony, no financial access. The prenup, which she had once scoffed at as unromantic, was now strategically ironclad in the eyes of the court. I constructed my revenge precisely like I built my successful career, brick by deliberate brick, without a sound. The confrontation arrived 6 months later. She drove down, unannounced, dramatically dragging a single suitcase behind her, an obvious symbol of her surrender. She knocked on my door, smiling broadly as if nothing of consequence had ever transpired. I permitted her entry, offered her a glass of wine, and sat directly across from her as she began spinning her rehearsed story about being terribly lonely, about how she had finally realized that home is wherever you are. I listened to her entire narrative, remaining completely calm and silent. Then I slowly retrieved my phone and slid it across the table. On the screen, her own prior words glowed back at her. "I can't believe he actually moved. At least now I can live my life without his boring dreams holding me back." Her face immediately drained of all color. I did not raise my voice. I did not resort to profanity. I simply stated the unvarnished truth. I currently earn $620,000 per year. I built a completely new life here, and absolutely none of it includes you. She instantly broke down in theatrical tears, apologies, panicked promises, desperate pleas. She lunged to grasp my hand, but I cleanly pulled it away. I informed her that the divorce papers were already formally filed, that she would be legally entitled to absolutely nothing, and that the man she thought she had, waiting for her back in the city, would never be capable of matching the enormous financial and professional future she had just carelessly thrown away. Her mask completely slipped then, revealing raw anger and stark desperation. She called me cruel, arrogant, and heartless. But the truth was profoundly simpler. I had finally learned the actual cost of her conditional love, and it was far too cheap for me to continue to afford. When she departed that night, dragging the same suitcase she had arrived with, I did not watch her from the window. I had no necessity to. The definitive sound of the car door slamming shut was entirely sufficient. Now, when I walk through my house, quiet and deliberately uncluttered, I experience a sensation I never once felt during all those years with her. Peace. No more games, no burdensome weight around my neck. Just silence, wealth, and profound freedom. Betrayal ultimately taught me something priceless. Love without loyalty is nothing more than a form of leveraged control, and once you clearly see it, you can never possibly unsee it. So when people inevitably ask me if I have any regrets, I tell them the absolute truth. I don't regret accepting the promotion. I don't regret leaving her behind. I only regret not realizing sooner that sometimes the cleanest form of revenge is undeniable success, lived loudly in the silence of their permanent absence.